What absolute bullshit are you talking here? Do you really want to racialize murders to that point? Do you want to really dumb down this?
My dog. Did you hear what he said?
What absolute bullshit are you talking here? Do you really want to racialize murders to?
Ooh. Ronaldo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the On the Country podcast.
Am I allowed to swear?
You can swear, bro.
Yeah, I know we said let's not blame the government. But
It's just sad when we start then becoming indoctrinated. Your view on me.
Hi guys, I'm Emilio Tobias and welcome back to another episode of the On the Country podcast with Emilio Tobias. Today's video, I just want to react to another creator, and I guess we are in the era now of podcasts being topics on other podcasts and all those type of things. And there's a guy who ever since the first time I heard him, somehow a little bit annoyed me. You already know in the title, it's Renaldo Gouws. His tone and his energy, and it's probably maybe during COVID is when I started seeing his videos. This was before he was prominent, before I heard about him from anyone else. It's always just been slightly annoying and cringe because of his tone and where he was coming from. And he has since gotten bigger and was big in the DA and left the DA, and he's blown up and more people know about him now. But to this day, I do try to listen to him now and then. Annoys me, but he did do something that I do respect. He decided to go on a podcast with DJs Boo and Nota, who are, I guess, in the public eye, and especially since we had all the issues with America and the farming and rural and all those things, was on the opposite ends of the argument. Nota far left, Ronaldo far right. They went on a podcast together and they spoke, and I was even surprised at the way they were cordial with each other, but Ronaldo himself was not embellishing. He was not exaggerating any facts. He had presented his views, which all of us think you should be able to do, or at least I think, Ronaldo, you should be able to be against the ANC. You should be able to be against the government and the way they do things and their ideological stance. You should be allowed to do that. But what you should not do, which is what the left do in America, is what these right-wing guys in South Africa are doing. Renaldo Gouws and now Rob herself is really leading into it. You are embellishing stuff, and it's not necessary to embellish stuff to show that you oppose a thing. That's the issue that we are having with you. That's the issue that I am having with the American left. Yes, I talk about America a lot, but America plays an important part in our culture and how we do things here. They are big influences on how Western society, as much as we're in Africa, we are, like it or not, in a Western society. But I saw this video come up and I just knew homie was gonna do it. I watched 30 seconds of it, but I know already he's going to embellish and mischaracterize everything. So let's watch a video that he dropped earlier about Fikile Mbalula's press conference after the ANC NEC meeting, which I think happens monthly or every second month, but this one happened after one or two of the meetings were skipped because the president wasn't around. Don't quote me on that. But he is now commenting on Mbalula's shocking attack on white South Africans. Let's go through it. When Mbalula's wrong or unfair, in my view, I will say it. But I'm I'm reacting to Ronaldo's reaction of Mbalula's press conference. Are we ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Ronaldo here. So this video is going to focus on Fikile Mbalula's press briefing on the outcomes of the NEC meeting from the past weekend. And there was a lot of things that was said that is completely absurd, blatant lies, but I want to just focus on the racist aspect of what he said about white South Africans. Now, he accused white South Africans of a lot of things, and we'll get into that right now.
So already he's telling you he's going to cut out context of the press briefing, and already he's telling you he's only going to show you snippets of the worst sounding things. And he's just admitted to cutting out context. And no, I don't expect him to watch the whole thing to make his point. But already, if you are watching Renaldo Gouws and he is the guy that is helping you get the temperature of the country, just know that this is what he's doing. The left does it as well, but he pretends like the left are the only ones that do it.
But before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Most of the people that watch my content aren't subscribed. Also smash the like button if you agree with my stance in this video. And also please be sure to share this far and wide, because we need to share this with as many people as...
Please let me know if you agree with my stance on the video. Yes, of course, if you are against ANC, you're going to agree on his stance. But a lot of us shouldn't just agree on stances. Let's just read a little bit. Let's just watch a little bit more of a video. Let's just watch a little bit more of a press conference. Let's just hear the story from 2 or 3 more sources before we make up our mind. Don't let podcasters, including me, including Renaldo Gouws, be your only source of how to feel about a thing. If you are too lazy to go and figure out how you feel about a thing, don't participate in the... I'm not saying don't watch people, but don't participate in the conversation if you are just taking how you should feel about everything on one person or one side of the aisle, no matter what side you find yourself on.
As we possibly can, because it's completely unacceptable that somebody that's in the top 6 in the ANC can say what they are saying about white South Africans. Now, also please note that this is somebody that was the Minister of Police, left that department in shambles. He was the Minister of Sport, Rec, Arts and Culture. He left that in complete shambles. And he was the Minister of Transport. And need I say more? Look at the state of the roads. Look at the state of rail and other infrastructure when it comes to transporting goods.
I'm being maybe extra on this one, but the Department of Transport or SANRAL is not responsible for roads. They're responsible for highways. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roads are generally the municipality. Streets, maybe roads, are generally the municipality. And then you get the R's and whatever. That would be maybe the province. But national highways don't have potholes. So just... I'm not saying Mbalula did a great job, but let's just not add things that don't match. I don't know if you've seen a highway with potholes, or if potholes is a problem on a highway. So
he's just a shit show wherever he goes. Literally, he is the shit show. But with that being said, let's get into this video and hear what he has to say about white South Africans.
I've never voted for the ANC. I wish I did have opportunity to at least vote for them once, to be able to say thank you. But the first time I was supposed to vote, I was hijacked and I thought I lost my ID, so I couldn't vote. The next time I voted, it was too late to vote for the ANC.
Here in South Africa, Donald Trump called for whites here, gave them special status in.
Actually, that's just 100% bullshit, because Donald Trump offered access to minorities in South Africa. White people, colored people, and Indian people. You're spreading misinformation.
Actually, that's a blatant lie. Because I learned that information from watching your podcast, and it was true. However, the addition of colored, Indian, and other minority groups to that special thing that Donald Trump gave Afrikaners as an endangered species in South Africa, refugee, what. The addition of other minority groups was a surprise when they updated the terms and conditions or the frequently asked questions or the description of on the website. It was an afterthought, and it came long after the initial thing. And for the longest time, we all knew and understood that it was just for Afrikaners. It was later revealed that yes, not just Afrikaans whites, but English whites as well, and then other minority groups, which were not, even in your video, were not explicitly mentioned who the minority groups were, but it was an afterthought after, I guess, some backlash, or maybe just getting ahead of the PR. But that is not a blatant lie from Mbalula. When he does lie in this video, I haven't seen it, I will also stop the video and agree with you.
49 car guards arrived in America. Car guards.
Yeah, the media is laughing because we know the media is obviously fed by the ANC, but
that part was a lie. I don't think those people were car guards. If there was, there's probably one or two car guards there. But that was a joke. And the media, I agree with you, should not be seen to be laughing, but sometimes laughing is involuntary.
Wait, so you called the 49 people, which is actually 59, not 49, but once again, expecting you to know the basics of facts is just...
Bro, why are we holding Mbalula to the 49-59 thing? Everyone got the 49-59 wrong. And if I wasn't too lazy, I was going to go and find the part where you said there were 49 people. Hi, man. I'm going to be as pedantic as you are.
Unacceptable. But you are belittling and insulting a profession, car guards, thinking that this is going to be a great gotcha moment for you to belittle and insult white people. Now, the reason that there are so many car guards in South Africa is because you, as the government, can't provide adequate jobs for people in this country. So you are belittling car guards, which, by the way, the overwhelming majority of car guards are black car guards. So well done on insulting and belittling your own, because you proclaim to be the voice of black people. But other than that, we know for a fact that these individuals that left are people that are former business owners, started their own businesses at high-ranking positions in companies, and they left because they don't see a future in South Africa. And now you are trying to belittle their entire experience by calling them car guards. Fuck you. Simply.
If you didn't know how, I don't want to say slimy, but if you didn't know how good Renaldo Gouws was, you wouldn't have noticed a very specific choice of words. They left because they didn't see a future in South Africa. Not because they felt that their lives were in danger, but a lot of them saw an opportunity to go and immigrate or migrate to America in a streamlined process so that they can go and fulfill their dreams there. Like anyone else who would want to go to America. I would like to go to America and go live there for 5-10 years and make some money, which is what a lot of these business owners who left. My man, there's a guy who left his mother. We all know the guy who left his mother here. If your life's in danger and you don't take your mother with you, was it not an option to take your immediate family? But then again, I believe in Donald Trump's first term, he put an end, or he made it difficult to do the chain migration, where a couple would come over, move here, and then they would be able to bring in their parents, each of their parents, and siblings and cousins and stuff, all under the same family. And big families were able to migrate because of chain migration, which is a good thing, but I believe maybe it was misused at some point. But I digress. I'm going to nitpick this guy the same way he's nitpicking this thing.
What is that?
In America. He is saying that we are a racist country, we are everything else.
Well, you've got 146 race-based laws in this country that discriminate against people purely because of the skin that they were born into. Now, we can argue about redress, but explain.
Oh, someone has gotten through to you. Someone has gotten through to Renaldo Gouws to say yes. And they're not calling them, he's not even calling it racist laws. They're calling it race-based laws. Ne? It's fair. That's true. Race-based laws. But you are coding the word so that America can say 142 racist laws. Because the situation in America, however similar, is very different to South Africa. Our societies are facing similar things, but population dynamics are different, and the two-sphere political thing is different. So, Ronaldo is correct. You see, I'm also telling you when he's right, but he's not saying enough. So someone has gotten through to him to say, yo, brother, don't just call it race-based laws without mentioning why they are there. Yes, we can refer to the fact that they have failed. We can refer to the fact that they're not doing what they're supposed to, or they're being misused by a select few elite in the black community. Someone has gotten through to him. Let's have that argument. Don't just tell people there is 142 race-based laws and leave it there without context. He's added the context, but if you are watching him, you probably also don't care about the context.
Explain to me how a young white South African that was born long after apartheid ended now have to face these policies and these race-based laws because of something that he or she never did or never benefited from or were never involved in. That is pure racism. And I don't care what you try and say, what you try and use other words to describe this racism, and especially the word redress. Ultimately, it is racist, whether you want to admit it or not.
Plan 7 Architect is a professional architect.
So while the advert is playing, Ronaldo, my dog, you can't say that a kid born in the year 2000 did not benefit from apartheid. Yes, I'm not saying every single white person benefited or every single white person is in a position of privilege. Some white people were poor in apartheid, and that poverty may have carried on with them. But also, and I'll say I'm speculating here, I think when white people see poor white people, they tend to be more inclined to help out because it's such a rare sight that it feels unnatural and not normal. So there are those opportunities from the white people who do have. If they see white people that aren't doing well, they are more inclined to help. I think the same, and it's not a derogatory thing, I think it's the same in the Jewish community, that when Jewish people see one of their own struggling, they will all lend a hand, which is something we all should learn. I'm not saying it as a bad thing, by the way. Now, this dude is saying us trying to fix, or South Africa trying to fix, the large amounts of unemployed, poor, black, brown, and Indian people, black, colored, and Indian people, is discriminating against the one white guy who was denied a job. the employment stats, we can always find individual cases where people were aggrieved on an individual level. But the employment stat still shows that the most employed people are white people. So if we say, yo man, white people are just getting jobs after jobs after jobs, can we just make sure that we employ a bit more black people? And maybe we need to put your hands to the coals, is that the phrase? So that you can hire more black people, we're going to do that. Now, we can have a different discussion on how spaces that have become black dominated, the same kind of favoritism or prejudice that white people show in their hiring, black people are showing when they hire. And they might even justify it by saying that if I don't hire a black person, no one will. And it's a thing that maybe colored people have suffered from, which has been brought up by Caitlin McKenzie, the fact that the employment equity numbers that have been set out is it in the Constitution or in wherever, those employment equity numbers have not been adhered to. We now are sitting with the situation where there are more, in certain sectors, more black people than white people, or there are less white people than there are supposed to be according to the equity numbers. I hope you get what I'm saying. But let's have that level of argument. Not this.
Well, what you try and use other words to describe this racism, and especially the word redress, ultimately it is racist, whether you want to admit it or not.
Gave them special status to leave. They didn't leave. And
well, it's still ongoing. The refugee program is not one and done. It is still ongoing. The 59 that left initially, there's been more people that have left since then, and there are apparently tens of thousands of applications for people that want to leave South Africa through this refugee program. So once again, you are just showing your complete ignorance by not really knowing what the actual refugee program encompasses. Because if you did, you would know that you can't make a statement that they're not leaving because it's still ongoing. And you're going to find out very quickly who the overwhelming majority of these people are. And I highly doubt that it's going to be just white people. It's going to be overwhelmingly colored and Indian as well.
Every forum said, yo, we don't, who's been the spearheads of this whole process since 2017 or 18. They said, no, that's not what we want. We don't want to leave. So the 10,000 people who will leave are most welcome to leave. And what percentage is that of white people, or of Afrikaners, or of minority groups? It's nothing, bro. Most Afrikaners don't want to leave because deep down, most Afrikaners don't believe the stuff that you are saying. And they feel very safe and secure, financially and otherwise, where they are right now.
when they arrived there, it's chaps who are looking after cars here. Because this country, they are the most well looked after people by this economy.
Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You completely ignore and deny the fact that there are poor white people in South Africa. And
yeah. But Ronaldo, poor white people aren't exceptional and do not have a higher claim to being helped than black people. Yeah, they are poor white people. No one disagrees. They are poor white people. But they are very few. They are very few. If you're speaking on, having to speak about it on a governmental level, my dog, don't talk about poor white people. Don't be living in your 2-bedroom house and yes, struggling to make ends meet and having issues with your car and being a single. I've seen single white mothers struggling to make ends meet. I've seen poor white guys who need help now and then. Yes, I know you feel a pain for those people. But there are so many more people like that who are trying their best. They aren't just in that situation because they're lazy. I'm not saying the white people who are poor are in that situation because they're lazy. Some people might argue that. But you are exceptionalizing white poverty over black poverty. So don't do that when you're talking about white poor people. Now the issue is, he's not discounting poor white people. Guys, I'm not here to defend Fikile Mbalula. He's not here to discount poor white people. But white people in general benefit more from the economy, are more well looked after by the economy than their black counterparts or black people in general.
We have so many companies that can't provide assistance to these poor white communities because according to you they don't exist, and if these companies do that, then you punish them through your triple BEE scorecard that you have. So I wouldn't trust a word coming out of your mouth when it comes to that. Added to that, of course, is the fact that it would be very interesting to see how many of these white South Africans that have left, how many of them pay taxes. Because it's very easy to make claims like they are well looked after. But what you fail to do, and what SARS magically don't have any stats on, is what percentage of each population pays tax. Because there's race demographics for everything on every other form in South Africa, and they can give you the racial breakdown of everything. The one racial breakdown that they magically can't give you is what percentage of each population, according to race, pays tax, and how much do they pay?
They are okay.
No, they're not.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus.
They are okay, bro. Them, you also don't realize you had your own argument.
They are fine.
It is very likely, and I will even say not even likely, it's true that white people, no, maybe I don't know, no, I don't know. If we're gonna average it out, and then that might be a different story. White people per capita probably do pay way more tax than the average. The average white person pays way more tax than the average black person. That can be extrapolated from the fact that the average household income or the average income for a white person, a black person, is like this. So the fact that white people can and do pay more tax on average should show you and prove Fikile Mbalula's point that they are better looked after by this economy. He's not saying that the rich are getting SASSA, are getting more SASSA, saying they are well looked after by the economy. Poor people are not looked after by the economy. That's why they may need more government assistance.
In this economy. And then they did not go to the United States of America. In less than a week being there, they started killing each other there. A man killing his girlfriend there.
What absolute...
Maybe we must Google this one. I want to hear what he has to say. He probably did research already. That's why he's going to speak with such confidence. Let's check with Grok. What's the story about one of the Afrikaner? I never sought to look up the story, but I heard about the headlines. What's the story about one of the Afrikaner refugees being killed since arriving in America. Is this a real story? Let's see first, and then I'm gonna also call it Mbalula if he needed to fact check this thing. There are no reports in the provided information or recent sources confirming any African refugee who arrived in the United States under Trump had been killed since their arrival. The available data primarily on arrival of refugees, starting with group of 59. Okay, if you are referring to the specific story event, it's possible information is not widely reported or verified in the sources I have access to. Okay, cool. Where else, man? So, Grok doesn't have any... Yeah, no. Where did the story come from? Let's see. Okay, there's no confirmed information about this thing. Okay, cool. So Mbalula should not mention this without at least talking about the fact that none of this has been confirmed. I also did hear the story, but I guess that was misinformation. Okay.
Bullshit. This is so fake. I'm assuming the incident that he's talking about was about this young black girl, Kim, I think it's Kim Town, I believe. She is an expat that went overseas and then had a child with an American. Then they moved to South Africa, didn't like it yet, and they moved back to the United States. And then her husband, which is a US citizen, born in the United States, killed her. This has got nothing to do with the refugee program. This is somebody that's a South African expat that moved long before this refugee program was available.
Mbalula, they must also just double check those stories and confirm, or at least provide evidence. I did hear the story. I heard about it here, then the other. But it makes sense that it's not true. And if you are a spokesperson or secretary general of a political party, you don't do gossip stories. You must do confirmed or reported on by reliable sources, and there's no such a thing.
Available. And then her American husband killed her. So you are spreading absolute disinformation here.
This is what they do here.
I think this means you're intentionally doing it. Miss means it's a mistake.
Killing each other over something. They are in the courts. Killing our people, saying they look like monkeys.
What are you on about? Like, what absolute bullshit are you talking here? Do you really want to racialize murders to that point? Do you want to really dumb down this?
My dog. Did you hear what he said?
What absolute bullshit are you talking here? Do you really want to racialize murders to?
Ooh. Ronaldo. You said, do you really want to racialize murders? Did you just say that? Ah. Racialize murder. Do I need to say anything? I think he was just rambling. It didn't make sense what he was saying, but there are cases of black people being killed by white people for racist reasons. Wow. But did he just say that? Renaldo Gouws.
to that point? Do you want to really dumb down this argument to the point of, oh, white people kill black people? Because if you want to dumb it down and leave out racial demographics of this country, then let's play this game, right? Okay, for the last 30 years, let's have a look at how many white people killed black people. Okay, now let's do how many black people killed white people. I can bet you that the overwhelming majority of victims are white victims and the majority of perpetrators are black perpetrators. Now, what now? We dumbed this argument down to the point of just saying a black person killed a white person or a white person killed a black person. You left out the complete racial demographics of this country. It's such a stupid argument to make, because ultimately if you want to play this argument that you are going to lose, because far more white people have been killed at the hands of black people than black people being killed at the hands of white people.
I like when these guys are arguing something else and then they start to bring up arguments that would help them understand where we are coming from in the previous debate. So, if you are able to bring up this, which is true, I do not dispute it. Or let me not say it's true as if I know the stats, but I do not dispute that fact. My dog, can you not take this argument and apply it to all the nonsense you were talking about and the time when you were racializing murder? More white people are killed. Black people kill more white people than white people kill black people. True. More black people are killed by black people than are killed by other people. Because, why? Can we surmise why that is? Are black people savages? Are colored people savages? No, just more colored people and black people are in socio-economic distress that would resolve to such violent crimes. There's probably way more people who will just stop at stealing, pickpocketing, shoplifting to get a means to an end, and some people from there would graduate to that. Generally, the reason for what black people killing in society is crime, making money, and if you are breaking into rich neighborhoods and hijacking cars, expensive cars, more common than not, they are driven or lived in by white people. Black people also get hijacked. Black people's houses also get broken into and killed in their homes, but not on the level of white people because they have stuff to steal. Generally, the reason when white people are killing black people is not for means to an end. White people aren't killing, generally speaking, just because they don't need to, are not killing for means to an end. So their motive, more often than not, for killing black people is racial. We're not talking about the times when a white person kills a black person in self-defense in the event when they're getting robbed or attacked or whatever the case may be. There's a case in the courts right now where 2 black women were killed and fed to pigs, but you don't want to acknowledge and speak on that as a problem. And we are not out here just finding any reason to not agree with you. But if you can come up with that argument for what he just said, you can come up for the same argument on your claim of white genocide, which you denied, but continually want to allude to.
It's such a stupid argument to make.
In 1 week, you'll see your energy.
Well then, Ronaldo has ads. I'm jealous of him for that.
In our country. And then they went to badmouth us in the United States of America.
They didn't badmouth you, they spoke facts. Everybody there spoke facts.
They did. They spoke just like how you're speaking now. Untrue things. Untrue things. Embellished. Exaggerated. And there were some lies. It's lying. If you know that it's not true and you're exaggerating and you are leading someone on to make conclusions like what Ernst Roots did with Tucker Carlson.
States of America.
They didn't badmouth you, they spoke facts. Everybody there spoke facts. There are 84 murders a day in South Africa. The broad definition of unemployment is 45%. Youth unemployment is 62%. Every few seconds, there's a violent sexual crime that takes place in South Africa. It's not talking bullshit about you. It's...
Is it or is it... Now you're being dishonest. You're not just embellishing. Is that what they went to go and speak about there? Is that what they went to go speak about there? Because you are now mentioning what they should have mentioned, what they should have put forward on the table. But they don't care because 80% of that 80 murders a day are black people, black women, not white people. Don't change your argument. Just try to be right from the beginning so we can move forward. This idea of wanting to dominate, guys, I'm against white domination and I'm against black domination. I'm not trying to be poetic, but that's the issue. We all want to dominate. We all want revenge. We all want one up. Leave this thing of identity, man. Leave this thing, man. If it's going to bring us back, if it's going to take us back, we can't be conservative and progressive at the same time. Choose.
Telling the truth about what is happening in South Africa. I'm sorry if the truth hurts your feelings, but don't think that South Africans are going to bat for you when you have failed South Africans for the last 31 years.
But Donald Trump invited them to come. They didn't go.
They're still going. It's still ongoing.
Didn't leave.
It's ongoing, but let's see. We'll see. It's ongoing.
This country, South Africa, they are still here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the top 6 within the ANC. Fikile Mbalula, he's the Secretary General of the ANC. And he's also, as I stated earlier, somebody that has had 3 former minister positions, and all 3 of those departments crumbled under his watch. And as you can see now, the ANC is crumbling under his watch as a Secretary General. So please remain in that position, because for as long as you are in that position, we are guaranteed that the ANC will lose more and more votes every single election. So please remain in that position. But you see, this is the type of abuse that we as white South Africans get in this country. Firstly, spreading blatant disinformation about white people, then stereotyping white people, saying white people kill black people in this country, white people are all car guards that went over there. You know, it's amazing. If a white person had to say what Fikile Mbalula said at a press conference, it'll be headline news for the next 2 weeks in South Africa. But I can guarantee you that not one single mainstream media outlet is going to cover the racist bullshit that he spoke about, and the stereotyping of white people, and the blatant disinformation about white people. Not one single media house is going to run this story.
Don't do misinformation while you're claiming someone else is doing mis or disinformation. Don't do disinformation yourself. Like, my man, you're allowed to have your views. You're allowed to be opposed to what the current administration is doing. You're allowed to complain about the state of the country. But let's do it honestly so that we can get somewhere. Broer, The thing that makes me struggle to watch your videos is you make up stuff and you conveniently leave out stuff. And there are people watching your videos who buy the stuff because they are too lazy, like myself, a lot of the time, too lazy to read a bit more about a thing. Trying to understand what someone is saying. Don't disagree with someone because you don't understand what they're saying. How can you disagree with someone if you don't understand what they're saying? Understand first, then disagree. These random arguments to rile up and rally up the white community or the uninformed white community, or to make them feel like they're under attack. No, bruh. We just want inclusion and not exclusion. We're not fighting for exclusion of white people. We're fighting for the inclusion of everybody. There are missteps from individuals all the time. Call it out. You can criticize BEE, but don't act like you don't know why it was there. It's not a perfect system. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I'm Emilio Tobias. This is the On the Contrary podcast. And please comment, man. If you're a fan of Ronaldo, tell me where am I getting him wrong. Tell me the things that you learned from him. I learned that thing about colored people and English white people and Indian people being added to the list of minorities in America. I saw it from him and he read it out from the website. That's why I saw it first. But it's just nitpicking and whatever stuff going on. It's weird. But shout out, give him a compliment. Shout out for him going on to Nota and TJ Spoo's podcast. But when he was there and defending himself, he was doing it the way he should be doing it. Not this trickery that he's doing here. But that's all we have time for. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Yeah, let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the On the Contrary podcast.
Am I allowed to swear?
You can swear, bro.
Yeah, I know we said let's not blame the government, but
It's just sad when we start then becoming indoctrinated. Your view on me.